Video games are infinite with Sega Enterprises. Hi everybody, I'm Crep, and we're playing Sonic CD. Again? Like a second time? Yeah, we are, because I made a claim in the main LP that this game is really short and that you can beat it in like under an hour, and then I proceeded to take 2 hours. The big reason for this is that trying to go out of your way to find all of the machines, capsules, whatever, generators, and get the time stone, so going into the special stages and stuff, takes a while. These are really short stages, but doing even that, because they're so short, I guess, doing even that modicum of extra work makes them take a lot longer. So, to make a point, we're just gonna play this game again. And we're gonna not do any of that, and it's gonna take less time. You may also notice that the music's different. I thought I would put my money where my mouth is with regards to the US soundtrack and actually, like, show it so that people can understand my opinions on it a little better, maybe. Or just, you know, anything. Amy's here, by the way. This isn't the difference between the Japanese and US versions or anything. She's always there at the end of Palm Tree Panic Act 1 if it's in the present. Maybe also in the future too, but I don't know that. I never go to the future in Act 1 of Palm Tree Panic. Why am I going to do that? Except maybe by accident. Which, like, doesn't happen. I don't think it's happened to me ever in playing this game. Maybe in, like, Act 2, because Act 2 is full of some nonsense, but, you know, that's just Sonic CD's MO. Let me go. Let me go. So yeah, we already beat Act 1 in less than a minute, so hopefully that makes a bit of a statement. Another reason we're playing this again is because I do still have things I can say about this game, and I do still have things I would like to say about this game, starting with everyone's favorite, some corrections of things that I said last time. I tried to be cool and do, like, research on development stuff, including credits, people who worked on this game, and where and who and why, and got some stuff wrong because I wasn't thorough enough. So, let's try it again, you know? Take two. There's a rock right there. The big thing is that Hirokazu Yasuhara, credited as the game planner for both Sonic 1 and 2, did not work on this game. He worked on Sonic 2. In fact, almost everybody who worked on Sonic 1 worked on Sonic 2 except for Naoto Oshima, who worked on this game, and only this game, in that time. What's interesting, though, is that Naoto Oshima is not the only person from Sonic 1's development team, which is like 8 people. I don't know if I already mentioned that. Really small. It's 1991. He's not the only one from Sonic 1's development team to have worked on this game. The other is my boy Maki, Yukifumi, Makino. Yeah, Yukifumi Makino. Credited as Maki in Sonic 1 and 2. In Sonic 1, he was the sound programmer, so I think I talked about that when I highlighted his work when I was reading off random credits at the end of Sonic 1. Masato Nakamura did the compositions for Sonic 1, wrote all the music, and then Yukifumi Makino and one other, can't remember their name, but there were 2 people, worked as the sound programmers, presumably doing all the work, getting the music in-game and playing in the Genesis sound chip, and doing sound effect work, and the like. So, Yukifumi Makino, I think, did minor sound assistance for Sonic 2, but then was the sound director for this game on top of doing sound programming. So pretty cool. Love you, Maki, wherever you are these days. Sure you're still doing cool stuff somewhere, hopefully. The other thing that's kind of just fun, worth noting, is that 8-person development team for Sonic 1 basically quadrupled for Sonic 2, and that's not even including people who are mostly overseers for the project. The kinds of people who mostly were like credited as support roles, quote unquote, in the game's credits. Just interesting. A lot of stuff changed between 1991 and 2, apparently, or a lot of stuff changed in going to North America for development. Could I maybe get to the other side of all this spring nonsense? Bompers. Bomp. Did I mention last time that I love the sound the bumpers make in this game? It's so good. It's the goodest. I think that was about it in terms of development stuff that I wanted to note. Those are the big things. It's also worth noting that I've got two conflicting sources for which of the two main composers, no, the two composers on this game composed the opening track and the ending track. You Could Do Anything and Cosmic Eternity. I don't know why. On VGMDB and on Sega Retro, very clearly attributes You Can Do Anything to Masafumi Ogata, and I don't want to go to the time. I don't have time for that. Endless Naofumi Hataya, I'm still trying to pronounce it correctly, as the composer for Cosmic Eternity. But Sonic Retro is a sister site of Sega Retro. Lists it the other way around. Why? Why? Where do they get that from? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not in the business of going on wikis and correcting things. Especially because I just don't have the energy to do like further research to confirm that yes, absolutely VGMDB and Sega Retro have it right, which is why I should fix it on Sonic Retro, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm still rather befuddled, if I could say a word. Which I'm usually allowed to, but I like to check, because in some cases it's not like super acceptable or expected. Might be a faux pas in some cultures. Ooh, ceiling bumper. Ooh, future. Oops. I don't want to go to the future, but I would like to be risky and attempt to get rid of it. Yeah, that worked. I'm faffing about a bunch right now. Let's just try to get to the end. So if you're paying attention to the music, you've kind of already noticed a big departure from the kind of sound that the Japanese soundtrack from Masafumi Ogata and Naofumi Hataya had. Very different. You can see a lot of similarities in like Palm Tree Panic, because they both use a lot of Latin percussion, though this soundtrack's Palm Tree Panic is a little more lax. I mentioned last time that this soundtrack was composed by Spencer Nilsson and like maybe 2 other guys, and some backup vocalists. Well, as it turns out, it's composed by Spencer Nilsson with help, listed as co-composer and not given any more detail, from some man named David Young, who I found no other information on. There might be more information out there, but there might also not be. Who really knows these days? With backup vocalists by Pastiche. Whoever Pastiche is. Is it 2 people? Is it 3 people? Is it 1 person? I have no clue. It could just be 1 person in a recording booth who recorded like 3 different lines. 3 different vocal lines simultaneous. You know, that sort of thing. The sort of thing I do when I make music, because I'm only 1 person. Spencer Nilsson, David Young, Spencer Nilsson, mostly. Check out this weird boss theme. The deep laugh at the beginning, the like lack of any percussive aspects to it. Just very low and droning. A lot of weird noises. Weird boss theme. Ugh. Did I have a bunch of trouble with the pinball machine in the other LP? I can't remember, because I'm having a lot of trouble with it now. It really goes back and forth for me. It's so much the worst. They're so dang like the same person. No. Oh, game. Would you like to be kind to me? Because you could be. This summer, you too could be nice to me. Coming soon to theaters near you. Stop dropping things on me. I like it when there aren't things being dropped on me. I like it when I get to be me. Yes. That took altogether much longer than it should have. And we're just gonna have to live with that. One thing we'll not be seeing from this playthrough that is a big, not a criticism, but just something I don't really like about this soundtrack thing, is that the Good Future and Bad Future tracks for most of the zones, not all of them, but most of them, are almost the same song. There's something kind of neat going on there, where there's a direct juxtaposition of both outcomes, as like, maybe they're not that dissimilar after all. It is still the future, but it also just feels less spectacular and grandiose, and in a lot of cases, congratulatory. Because one of the big things about the Good Future tracks in the Japanese soundtrack is that they're like exceptionally happy. They are beyond joyous. And you know, that serves to make the player feel accomplished and successful and like they have done the correct thing. It's encouraging them for having played the game the way the developers want them to play, I guess. Yeah? Yeah, that works, right? So that soundtrack kind of has that going on. But here, both the Bad Future and Good Future tracks are mostly the same song, with occasionally some tonality changed, but mostly with instrument lines switched out between the two of them. It'll be the same backing track with the exact same structure, but it'll have like a slightly different melody, or a similar melody in a different instrument. These sorts of minor variations. You know. Again, I'm not really against that, but I don't like the way it's executed here, especially in contrast to the original soundtrack. I also just... We're long past it, but I also just don't really like Collision Chaos's music much. What'll be kind of interesting is the zones... Rather, what won't be interesting, because we won't see it in this playthrough, but what I find kind of interesting are, I think, the two zones where the Good Future and Bad Future tracks are actually kind of distinct. I think Tidal Tempest is one of them, and the other one is Wacky Workbench. I also, and this is totally just pulled out of my gut feelings, I kind of feel like the present music and Good Future music for Wacky Workbench in this soundtrack were swapped. Because you get to Wacky Workbench in the Japanese soundtrack, just incidentally, and you know, it's got kind of like a mischievous sound going on. It's very, very beepy and chromatic, but in a mostly minor key. Kind of makes you feel like you're being taunted by the level design, mostly. This soundtrack decides to lean more into the wacky aspect of the name. In more of a literal definition, I guess. Ooh, almost drowned it. It has like a much, much more lighthearted and even like jovial sound. In the present music, though. And then you get to the Good Future and it actually sounds a little more, like, serious? less laid back. It's kind of weird. I highly recommend going and checking out the soundtrack just to formulate your own thesis there. Yeah, I actually can't remember if the Good Future music in Title Tempest is much different from this. And my other big complaint with the soundtrack as a whole is that it's rather low energy. Not always, but a lot of the time. It just has a slower pace to it, and it doesn't feel not driven, but it's less energetic than the kind of drive that the Japanese soundtrack has. You know, I said earlier that I still have things to say about this game, but I'm not entirely sure, actually. I might only have things to say about the soundtrack. This may be boring. I am mostly recording this to make a point, I guess. Gonna get you eggs, man. Oh no, I got, I guess. Guess I had a shield? I think I did and then forgot that I had a shield. I was expecting to drop all my rings there and I didn't. And it was surprising. Things are surprising when they happen when you don't expect them to happen. This is a weird human psychology fact from me to you. I bet you weren't expecting me to give you that. Be surprised. Another thing that'll make this playthrough at least hopefully a little interesting compared to the other one is that as a result of ignoring all of the time travel and ignoring all the special stage stuff, we will not be getting the good ending. We'll be getting the not as good ending. So I guess this time we're playing a Sonic who's like, I don't care about any of this little planet stuff. I'm not in the business of being a planet saver. I just want to go throw more rocks at Eggman, so I guess that's what I'm going to be doing today. Oh cool, I like the way that spring decided to act. Okay, cool, time to get back to complaining about the soundtrack. One of the things that I just don't like much about this soundtrack versus the Japanese ones, plural? The Japanese soundtrack, is I just don't think a lot of the synths used here have aged nearly as well as the synths THS have for the Japanese soundtrack. It's kind of bar none there, honestly. It's a lot of it's just not as good sounding. Especially listening to like the invincibility music. Don't like it. That's how I feel about like the bass synth in Title Tempest. Though I do like the present track there. I think I was going to mention and then didn't, or maybe I already mentioned and just repeating myself to try to have more things to say, but I'm just saying the same thing. I do like the present music in Title Tempest. In this game. I like it enough. Or in this soundtrack. Same game, different soundtrack. But like the bass synth they use, the ASS, it's kind of It's a little I'm not a big fan of the synths used in Collision Chaos. Bad. What is that? What are you doing, Pastiche? What are you singing? What was the direction that you were given? Were you given direction? Did you come up with these vocals yourselves? Did Spencer Nilsson write them? What was the direction you were given? I kinda really dig the good and bad future music for Horse Quadrant in this soundtrack, though. That pop and snare is a big part of it. I have to be completely honest. The soundtrack also uses some light guitar work that I kind of dig. It's okay. I don't always love it, but in the tracks where I like it, I really like it. So make that of you will what you will make. Jump over it. As an added bonus of seeing all these bad futures, you get to see how ugly all the bad future palettes are. They're meant to be ugly, I'm assuming. Like, they all use pretty drab colors, lots of stuff that doesn't complement each other well, lots of stuff that's dark, and I don't know, what's the antonym of vibrant? It's kind of already said drab. Drab is like an antonym for vibrant. You kind of get the idea. They're not the best to look at, but they exist. And they're important because they're meant to reinforce, like, hey, you should be not enjoying being here. Oh yeah, it's Wacky Workbench. I also like the snare in this song. Get some good snare samples. Also some weird synth sounds in this track that I actually like compared to the weird synth sounds in a lot of other tracks in this soundtrack. Just, you know, just I'll take what I can get. I have fun with bits and pieces of the soundtrack. Ooh, I love having to dodge the floor. The floor is proverbially lava, as they say. They always say that it's proverbially lava. Proverbially? Proverbally. That's proverbally what I mean to say. I'm assumingly. Ooh, I didn't get frozen somehow. I thought it was frozen going to be. Don't like being on the spinning ones though. That, I gotta say, big hate of those. Big hate of that. Ooh, no past. I mean, we could go to the past, but like, it's only gonna slow us down. We gotta look to the future, especially the bad future. Unfortunately, that's the future we're looking to. Okay, you really want me to go up. It'll be faster if I just go up at this point, so let's go up. Is this the one where I gotta go up in the center? No, it's where there's nowhere to go. That's the kind of up we're dealing with, so no, we're not going up as it turns out. Platform? There's a platform there. I'd like to land on it. Oh, that's gonna hurt me. Oh, it didn't hurt me. Ooh. Lucky me. Okay, let's. Oh, okay, that worked. I was just gonna try to get under the ceiling there and like hang out there. Yeah, Wacky Workbench doesn't like want you to have fun. This is a distinct quality of Wacky Workbench. Oh, cool! I fell, so I'm just gonna go fall more. Yay, falling! Yay, getting hurt! I guess I didn't need to hop up there and get that past, I just wanted the ring. Ooh, cool. Oh, am I gonna, like, time travel by accident? No, I'm not. I've got a good track record going so far. No time travels yet. Alright, that took a little while, but that's okay. We're still making pretty good time. This game's really short. It's in stark contrast to, like, you know, later Sonic 1 levels. Maybe it'll take 3, 4, or 5 minutes just getting through one act. Even later when we get to Sonic 3, those with only 2 acts per level or per zone, much like Sonic 2, the acts in that game also get pretty long, and that game will probably still take longer to beat than it did for me to beat Sonic CD with time travel and getting the good ending. Just just a longer game. This game is just a shorter game. Okay, I have to address it again. I don't understand what's up with the backup vocals in... I keep calling them backup vocals, but there's no... They're at the forefront, they're just the vocals. I don't understand what's with the vocals in this soundtrack. They're so weird. I don't know why, they're just so weird. I think actual words, like English words, or rather words of any language, are said like twice, if ever, maybe? Outside of the main theme, Sonic Boom, which I believe also has pastiche for the vocals. That's probably the big thing. Yeah, I don't know. They're just strange. I have to stick around in Act 3 before going to the boss. At least long enough for everyone to hear the weird vocals that are in this track. They're so weird! Listen to them! What are they saying? Are they saying? Are they saying? I don't know. I also forgot that they came that early in the song. I thought I was gonna actually have to wait. So I'm glad that I didn't. Just happen naturally. Off to the boss we go. Everyone remembers this boss. 3 hits and then it starts releasing a bunch of steam for some reason. I guess there are some percussive elements to this. They're really scattered and strange. With any luck, I won't be showing it off, but this game is also... this soundtrack is also notorious for having a nightmare-inducing game over theme. Dang, we've heard like... what, maybe two game over themes? Or two game overs in the whole series so far, because I didn't get a game over last time. And I had too many lives last time. I'm gonna have too many this time, probably. And they were the same game over theme because Sonic 1 and 2, both done by Masato Nakamura, and they reused jingles whenever applicable. I guess they were just trying to establish an identity. This is kind of the one big song, or rather, like, all the songs from Stardust Speedway are kind of the big songs that everyone loves from the US soundtrack, and I get it. They're the most, like, melodically focused in the whole soundtrack. Like, there's a really clear melody to be heard. You can extrapolate melodies from a lot of the other zone themes in this game. Oh, great. Stardust Speedway, why are you the worst in this game? You can extrapolate melodies and themes. No, I don't want to. There we go. No, that's... I said there we go because I thought I was at where I wanted to be at, but then I just suddenly wasn't. Could there stop being tons of speed boosters everywhere? Oh, who am I kidding? That's practically Stardust Speedway's entire identity. You can extrapolate a theme, a consistent like theme and melody from some of the other zone themes in this game. But it's easier in this game, in this soundtrack, Stardust Speedway, than with all the others. Let me through. Dang, foreground background gimmick. And people really like the Bad Future theme for Stardust Speedway in this soundtrack. And of course, we're gonna be hearing it, even if we were getting the good ending and getting all the time stones and stuff. We would still hear it, because the Bad Future theme for Stardust Speedway is always Metal Sonic's theme. Apparently, people like this soundtrack's Stardust Speedway Bad Future enough that, like, Sega saw fit to bring it back, remix it in 2 different Sonic games, both intended for Metal Sonic. One of them's in Sonic Generations, the other's in Sonic Forces. The one in Sonic Generations, due to the way the soundtrack switching works in that game, you can do it on any stage you want, which is fun, I guess. Most people just put it on the Metal Sonic fight. And then, of course, Sonic Forces puts it on the Metal Sonic fight in that game. Right. This weird section. I don't want to be here. I want to go over... No, I want to go over to the left. Let me do... No. I hate being here. I hate being right here. Ugh. I can't remember how to get out of this spot. This might actually work. There we go. The level design, Act 2. I swear. But what is going on? Would anyone like to tell me? I'd like to go somewhere else, please. Oh, perfect. This is good. Stardust Speedway probably has the worst. Stardust Speedway and Wacky Workbench and to a slightly lesser degree Metallic Madness have the worst level design in this game, objectively speaking. It's just so... It's beyond the point of the other zones level design in this game, which is very... Please go slowly and explore, we don't want you going super fast. That's kind of the vibe other zones in this game have. But these last 3 zones are very... We don't want you to even have control over where you're going. That's how slow we want you to go. You need to be so slow and meticulous and careful that you can't just go anywhere because you're gonna get sped off or bounced up somewhere. Yeah, you know, this theme, if I could just talk, if I could just be allowed to talk, this theme is pretty good. This is probably also my favorite rendition of it. Not a big fan of the way Forces arranged it, and the Generations remix is also pretty good, but it has a very specific style to it, and isn't, in my opinion, any form of objective improvement. And that's all I have to say on that matter. Ugh, I wish we could be here in the good future also, but that's okay. Oh yeah, this is the other zone that majorly has a different arrangement for the good future versus the bad future. They're pretty different songs. They don't have anything melodically in common, they don't have anything... They maybe have a little bit structurally in common, but not a massive amount. They don't sound similar, they have different tempos and stuff. Those are the big things, all of the other zones, good future and bad future tracks have the same tempo and same progressions. They're so dang much like the same song. Yay, I referenced Mario Twins twice in the same video. I don't even know why. The first one made no sense, the second reference made a lot more sense. This also has weird vocals in it. It's strange. Don't like the vocals in this soundtrack at all. Just let it be instrumental. Let the instruments stand on their own. It's probably my second least favorite song, level theme in the game. But I still kind of dig it. I just don't like it in this context. Especially compared to the bombastic energy that the Japanese Metallic Madness brings to the table. This Metallic Madness is way more subdued. It feels more like evil plotting, whereas the Japanese Metallic Madness feels a lot more like someone's coming at you with a knife, maybe, or like a saw blade. It's not spinning or anything, they're just holding it in their hand with like metal gloves or something so it doesn't cut them. They're just holding it, but they're coming at you. That's still scary. They're still like gonna do something with it. That's messed up. Don't let that happen. What am I talking about? Yeah. Let me get out of here, please. Thanks. Yay. This playthrough has been pretty brief, huh? I think everyone gets the point now. There's only one act left in the game outside of, you know, fighting the final boss and stuff. And this is the longest act in the game. Everyone will know that from the other LP. But it won't take nearly as long to get through it, now that we're not fussing about time travel and stuff. I love getting on these things from the underside. It doesn't really make any sense, but it's fun and I like doing it. Got a cool thing to share with everyone. We're almost done, which is great because I can't think of anything else to say about this game other than I just like it. But you know, I'm not as hot on it right now. I'm not playing it the way I like to play it. Just kind of blistering through it. It feels like not much of substance is happening, which honestly gives a lot of insight into the opinions of people who don't really like this game. A lot of the negative opinions on Sonic CD are from people who just didn't find it interesting to engage with the time travel stuff and getting the good ending. They're not like quote-unquote completionists, and they're especially not the kinds of people who see like a small secondary goal and dive straight for it. They just want to play the game that's in front of them in like the most obvious, indirect way. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it definitely spells out why a game like this wouldn't be as interesting to them as, say, Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 or Sonic 3. Because when you play it without engaging with its primary mechanics and the things that will make a playthrough longer, not much of substance happens. It's pretty lackluster. Kind of the other side of the coin when it comes to this game. Yeah, I think it's especially fitting to be playing with the US soundtrack in this manner. It really combines my least favorite aspects of this game into one cohesive whole. Don't forget, I'm really tiny. Never mind, I'm no longer tiny. You can forget about it. Remember how long I spent in this act the first time? I'm gonna beat it in like under 3.5 minutes now. Ooh, can we see them? Can we see the platform spawn? Yeah! Just comes out of nowhere. It's nothing. Out of the aether. Let's get out of here. Ooh. A final little fun tidbit for everyone. Apparently, this is at least true in the 2011 remake, and might also be true here. The end-of-act jingle in the US version is slightly longer than the end-of-act jingle in the Japanese soundtrack, which actually causes the end-of-act to take a little longer, solely because it doesn't go on to the next level until the audio track is finished. So it's actually objectively less optimal for speedruns. Incidentally, I of course learned about this through a speedrun. Thank you, HEDQ commentators. Oh no! Wow. I died in a really dumb and unfortunate way here. I don't actually want to go on that lower route again. I decided it would be fun to do it just once, but it takes a little time. I can just go up here faster, and I get some leverage, and I can jump into a spring and, like, go nowhere. That sounds great. I love going nowhere. Come on, let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Yay! I'm in. Yeah, as a whole, this soundtrack is much more atmospheric and defined by its tone more than it's defined by its catchiness, if I could be so bold. Nothing wrong with that, it's just not what I want from Sonic CD. That's all. That's all. Oh, there also isn't any special final boss music in this game. In the US soundtrack. I keep saying game. I've said it like the whole LP, not even really meaning to, but what I really mean is in the soundtrack, in this release of the game. You know, the Japanese version had a final boss theme, and it was pretty good. It changed the tone, brought about its own tension. That was cool. Made it feel special. Sonic 1 did that too. Sonic 2 did that too. It did that also. And spoiler alert, Sonic 3 is gonna do that also. But for some reason, Spencer Nilsson was like, you want me to write 2 boss themes? And then walked out of the building, and no one heard anything from him again, unfortunately. Can't find like anything further about him on his Wikipedia article after 1993. Seems to have gone missing. Nobody knows. This is a joke. To be completely clear, this is a joke. I'm sure Spencer Nilsson is still around. I'm sure his Wikipedia article that I have not read continues after 1993. Don't freak out. There's no sound effects for this part of the ending because they just made their ending version of Sonic Boom just play as soon as the FMV starts up. Sure. So we blow up the mountain again. But... Oh, what? Huh? What? Oh, we don't see Little Planet take off. Okay, I was so confused. I could have sworn the quote-unquote bad ending was different sooner. Nah, we don't get to see Little Planet off. And then Eggman flies off, and we toss a rock at him really fast with so much velocity that it actually hits. It's great. This ending is also good. But I do wish that this version of Sonic Boom actually like lined up with it. God, this soundtrack was so poorly planned. That's just my biggest gripe. I totally get for people who grew up with this soundtrack when they played Sonic CD as a kid, or as a teenager, or as a whatever. Like, this is their first exposure to Sonic CD was with this soundtrack, and it has nostalgic appeal, and it feels like what the game is naturally supposed to have because it was your first exposure to it. I get it. But I think, objectively, it just doesn't... It doesn't fit as well when you listen to the way the Japanese soundtrack was constructed for this game and its design. The US version just lacks polish. It just lacks cohesion. And in cases like making the ending music sync up with the ending cinematics, feels like it lacks intent. So I don't know. Sonic Boom's a good song though. This is not debatable. So what was that, like 45 minutes? 50, maybe? I can't remember when I started this, but must have only been like 50-ish minutes. Oh yeah, Spencer Nilsson and David Young, vocals by Pastiche. Sandy Cressman, Jenny Meltzer, and Becky West. Sandy, Jenny, Becky. A good combo of names. Yeah, they had some live instrumental playing for this soundtrack, which is cool. That's cool and that's fine. I mostly liked the guitar work in Wacky Workbench and not much else. And then of course the original composers get relegated to special thanks. I mean, hey, that's good. Also, Masaru Setsumaru is in there, which is interesting. I wonder why. We, unfortunately, in this LP series, we will not be playing any games that Setsumaru composed for, but Setsumaru does some good music. I believe I'm thinking of the right person. If I'm not, then don't worry about it. I'll correct it in the next LP video. It's fine. I'll do my research and no one will be able to yell at me. Tells me to try again because I didn't get all the time stones. Oh yeah, that's what I remember is. You think you did it, but no. No, Eggman still got his grasp on Little Planet. He just brings it right back. Good job, hero. You borked it. Try again, the game says. 'Cause you should. It's your responsibility. Set things right. In Sonic CD, the Hedgehog. Sonic CD, the Hedgehog. TM. Music by Spencer Nilsson and David Young.